Hi everyone, this is the final result of the Stylized Watering Can we will be breaking down today. In this video I'll show you how I made it, going through the full process from modeling to sculpting and texturing. This is a shorter version of the full 8 hours workflow, which you can watch in real time with no time lapses by becoming a channel member or getting the full class in the description. Here I'll focus on the main steps and briefly explain some of the decisions I made along the way. This asset is part of my stylized farming pack and this is the second video I'm sharing from it. So let's start. This time I started by studying my references using different images I found online. I also looked at some of my previous models to stay consistent with the style and texturing, and I reviewed a few quick sketches I made on paper. Based mainly on one of my sketch designs, I started modeling the watering can using a 32 vertex cylinder. This gives me enough topology for when I need to extrude the spout later on. For the bottom and top part of the watering can, I use a cylinder with a grid fill. Then I move the center vertex using proportional editing just to give each piece a slight concave and convex shape. You can also see that I used a few modifiers here. I added a solidify just to give some thickness to both the bottom and top parts, along with a bevel using edge weight mode and a subdivision surface modifier. This helps me just to build a clean high poly base for the model. For the spout, I simply extruded 4 faces from one side of the watering can. Before that, I turned them into a circle using the Loop Tools add-on, and then I started shaping the spout based on my sketches. For the handle, I first blocked out a shape based on my sketches and references. This gives me a clear guide before I start adding more geometry, of course. To model the handle, I started by placing vertices to define the shape. Then I converted it into a curve, added some depth and a subdivision surface modifier, and adjusted each point until I got the shape I wanted. For the wooden handle, I took a few faces from this piece and separated them. Then I extruded them to quickly block out the shape, adding a subdivision surface and a few support loops, of course. For the holes of the spout, I didn't mold them directly into the mesh. Instead, I used floaters. I'll leave that term clear here, floaters, so you can look it up if you are not familiar with it. The idea is to model the shapes you want to bake later in Substance Painter. This way there is no need to overcomplicate the geometry if those details will only live in the texture. After that, I decided to add a few extra pieces to the model to improve the overall balance. The bottom part felt a bit too simple compared to the top, so I wanted to add some visual interest. Nothing too complex here, I just copied, separated and added some modifiers to a few faces taken from the main model. After finishing the high poly model and getting it ready for sculpting, I started working on the watering can. I used a mix of some of my custom brushes, which you can find in the description, along with Blender's default brushes. As usual, I begin by adding some scrape brush strokes to give it that classic stylized look. I decided to add a few small holes inspired by my references. I think this adds a nice touch to the model, since this watering can is meant to be exposed to outdoor conditions like heat, cold, rain, and general wear. For this I used the clay brush and the clay thumb brush, both default in Blender. I also used this levels brush from my brush pack. You can get a similar result by painting a mask and then using the grab brush. I added this detail across the model, but not too much. I only place it in certain areas just to keep everything balanced. For sculpting the wooden handle, I used a default crease sharp brush, which I often use for wood. I added lines along the surface, and by holding Ctrl I can invert the brush stroke to create raised areas for each wood grain. As you probably know, the optimization and UV unwrapping process can be quite long and repetitive, so you can find the full breakdown in the complete video or in my 20+ hours course, link in the description. So as usual, we will move straight into the texturing process. Starting with the texturing process, after many years of using my stylized base material, I decided to begin this model without it. So I started by adding simple base colors to the model, keeping everything organized in folders. Well, to add the first stylized touch, I used the curvature generator as I usually do. I added a couple of layers for the edges, one softer and another with sharper edges. This helps to achieve that classic stylized look, enhancing the sculpt details we created. Just like in my previous smart material, I added 2 layers using the light generator. This will create a subtle gradient with light coming from the top and shadows building towards the bottom. It helps to bring out the shape of the model and keeps the texture from looking flat or too uniform. I added a noise texture to bring some variation to the overall surface. It is not strictly necessary, but I think it adds a subtle touch to the material. I noticed this in some of my references. Just make sure to keep it soft and only slightly visible, okay? One detail I wanted to add to reinforce the idea that this model is exposed to outdoor conditions was a layer of rust and dirt across the surface, okay? I created this using the curvature generator and then hand painted certain areas where I felt needed. I decided to add a gradient on the lower part to create a soft shadow effect and color. This slightly enhanced the middle and upper areas of the model, helping to avoid a flat look. This step of course is not necessary at all, but it is an artistic approach I usually use and something I often see other artists use as well. I added a fill layer to the body of the watering can to simulate a painted surface. Then, using a mask and paint layer, I started adding paint wear by hand with some filters on top like blur slope and anisotropic. I added 2 fill layers, one with a lighter color and another with a darker tone. I painted on each of them by hand to add light and shadow in specific areas, helping the model to stand out more. You can place the shadows near other parts to push the contrast and improve the overall look of your texture. To finish the texturing, I grouped all the layers into a folder and added a few filters on top. This helps to improve the overall look of your model with some small adjustment to the color and contrast. Then I exported the textures to Blender using the preset I've shown in my other videos and imported everything back to finish the model, export it, and render the final shots. I really hope you liked it, and I hope the full 8 hours of real-time video is helpful for the channel members who support me every day and you can learn from it. And if you are just getting started with 3D and want to improve your game aesthetic workflow, you can check out my full 20+ hours course in the description, where I go through the entire process from start to finish in detail. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.